Hello, and welcome to week 3 of my training. So, just finished today and just finished taking care of all the specifics as usual. So, this week went pretty well, I have to say. Things are getting a tad heavier. Uh, Weighing this morning at 69.3. So, that's a kilo drop from last week and only about 400 grams from 2 weeks ago. But like I said, I do tend to fluctuate, and it takes me about 4 weeks before I ever consider reevaluating because it is something that my body tends to do, and it can be highly unreliable in terms of weight loss. So, this week's singles have finally started to slow down. The 170 kg deadlift actually felt a tad faster than last week and looked about the same. It's actually the squat that was surprisingly slow. I would say that it's mostly because I misgrooved it, unfortunately, which is something I'll try not to repeat next week. But I think that's the main factor that affected the smoothness of the rep. The bench, I actually hit the rack on my first attempt, so I redid that. And the second single at 87.5 kilos was actually about RP 7, maybe borderline 6, which is really low for that type of weight. So I was really happy about that. Although I did not consider AMRAPing that to see if I had gotten stronger because that was beyond the point. But yeah, that was really good. So in terms of squat, bench, deadlift, like I said, the squat felt slower. The bench, the second attempt, obviously it was the second attempt, felt really good. And the deadlift, about the same. So I'm not too worried now. I just got a little concerned in regards to the squat, but I have been tightening my belt a little loose, so I'm thinking that could have affected the bracing as well. So what I will do next week is tighten my belt well, put my sleeves correctly, and make sure that I perform the movement as I usually do with a strong unracking and no shakiness. Because that's something that I've noticed when doing any type of squat variation is when I unrack aggressively, there's a lot of whip on the bars. I train with Olympic, so to say, equipment, which is pretty crap, and the bumpers are also obviously considered kind of cheating when pulling from the floor. But I just do with what I've got, and I just try my best to replicate the competition setting when I do my heavy singles. So yeah, the singles, apart from the squat, I'd say I'm really happy about. The squat, I'm just going to have to really focus when hitting that 155 next week. Just keeping everything tight and making sure I get that speed back on it. Obviously, I do keep in mind that I've lost quite a bit of weight, so that could have affected as well. But I don't really believe so because I've felt pretty strong on all the rest. So in terms of accessory, been increasing by 1.25 on each side, so 2.5 total on everything, and that went fine. So follow progressive overload in every single movement, and that went fine. +5 on every single lower, and 2.5 on the upper, and that went fine as well. The only movement, as I previously mentioned, the pull-ups were just kept the same for 9 sets of 4 body weight, no need to increase, just emphasizing on the pause and just really focusing on squeezing my back to kind of replicate that initial position when starting the bench press. So that's been working the charm, and I'm actually starting to feel comfortable, like 100% comfortable with that new wrist angle for my bench that I was advised to do by someone that kindly pointed it out on Instagram. So that has been working out very well, and I'm happy about that. In terms of volume, I think I can finally say that I'm accustomed to volume. There's no problem whatsoever in terms of my breathing. My pauses actually help for my normal rep days, and yeah, I'm just hardly out of breath if I really focus. which is something I really struggled with when I started this block. So obviously week 3, I'm starting to get quite excited about what's coming in the next few weeks. Like I said before, I am getting excited a little too early about reaching those maximal loads, which for me would be a 165, 97.5, and 187.5, which should happen in the next, I think it's 3 weeks. In 3 weeks, I'll be hitting 165, 95, and 185. So that's as close as I will get to the max, and then it'll be PR territory. So I'm really hoping that when I hit 165, 95, and 185, that those move very comfortably. So I know that I'm like as strong as I used to be, if not stronger, because that's really the goal. But I don't think there'll be any issue there because I've been feeling pretty good. Yeah, there's just a squat the other day, the single that failed. Pretty awful. Actually, after I was disappointed with the speed, I actually attempted 150 for the second time, which is going off program, but I just felt that because I misgrouped it, maybe that would feel better. So here's the 150 that I was talking about. In terms of speed, a little slow to my liking compared to my usual speed, but let's be honest, I'm not really a fast squatter, deadlifter, nor bencher. So that is something that I shouldn't worry too much about, considering that I did 2 singles at 150 and that was fine, and next week is 155. So the back offs, actually, I've been happy with my back offs throughout the 3 weeks. Very lightweight again, but just the form's very looking solid. Torso's upright, not dropping, reps are controlled, they're to depth. Not too deep, not too high. I'd say maybe a tad too deep, but I don't think that would be too much of an issue. Better be safe than sorry. So that is something I'm really pleased about. So since coming back from the injury, the squat, the bench, and the deadlift form, I've been really pleased with. Obviously, I might not feel like they're as fast as when I was being a little more aggressive, but I do feel safer, and I think I'm able to gather more tightness, which in the long run will pay off, because in my case I know that it's more about being patient and staying tight than letting the power leak and let form break down, because yeah, I know how that ended up along the road for the deadlift. The faster it fell, the better, but yeah, I ended up pulling my back. So that wasn't really pleasing. One topic I wanted to discuss is my conventional. I forever swore that my conventional would never be neutral spine, so I'm really pleased to say that maybe in the last few months, I'd say I finally managed to get my conventional to where I want it to be in terms of for neutral spine. It looks very clean. Actually, I'd say it looks better than my sumo now. I always thought my sumo was really good, but I actually tend to struggle to keep a neutral spine on my sumo now. And my conventional, it's like it's just child's play keeping that spine neutral, thanks to this kind of twisty form setup that I do reset every rep. It helps me get my back flat and engage the movement with my legs, which is always something I focused on. I always kind of taken it as a scale movement. If you put weight on one side of the scale, the other side will go up. In this case, if I push with my feet, the rest of my body will pull the bar up, and that has helped a lot in terms of cues. Cues is something that I've really worked on, and I've tried to change my cues over time to improve my movements, but cues are something that's very, very hard for me to remember to follow when performing the movement, because first you're thinking about the weight on the bar, how heavy it is, how many reps you need to do, the breathe in, breathe out, and by the time you're thinking about all these things, you tend to forget about the cues you set up for yourself, or at least the cues you follow. So on these light days with pause, I'm really able to remember to keep that chest up, spread the legs out, really keep that spine neutral, so it's easier for me. This is another good example, the 3-second pause bench. It's really easy for me because it's lighter weight to really focus on keeping everything tidy, pulling down, and then pushing up, kind of really just following my cues, which in my opinion are very personal, and and I always tell that to people to not worry so much about uh, kind of like however people do it. I do advise people to follow kind of principles, but I never tell them that it's the only solution. There's always different ways to perform the movement, but it generally really helps to think about the bench and the squat as pulling movements and the deadlift as a pushing movement to at least initiate the movement. That's what I've realized has helped me in the past and still helps me to this day. So yeah, this week was like, I'd say, about as good as week 2, maybe, let's say, tiny bit harder, not in terms of volume. Volume I'm very accustomed to now, and I know to take my time and that my body can handle out now. It's more about getting closer to those maximal weight for singles. I think it's maybe me expecting to be weaker, which is actually sending the wrong signals to my body, and I'm just feeling the weights getting heavier. But as I really focus on not letting that affect me, I end up performing really well. As in, my deadlift single was actually better than last week. This week, my squat was worse, but I did 2 150s, and then my back offs fell better than the 95 last week. In terms of bench, I did hit the rack, but my second single was the best out of the entire 3 weeks so far, and it was at such a low RP. I was surprised myself, and I really think I have this 100 in me, so I'm hoping I get it in a few weeks' time. I also believe that my choice of accessory will pay off. The close grip, the tempo, the 3-second pauses, everything is just really working on my weak points. This row with my stupid face is really helping me pretend it's the lowering of the bar on the bench, but just reversed to kind of keep the back flex. So I find this has really helped me as well in terms of remembering how to flex my back when unracking the bar when doing my bench work. And so finally here comes today's footage, so Friday, which is the conventional belt list. So that was a 145. The singles are going up. I can definitely tell by there's starting to be a little movement in my back, so I really have to keep that in check, keep my back tight. That moved really well, but it did feel a little heavier because I guess I lost a bit of tightness in my back, which I think can be avoided. So I'm expecting my 150 to be spotless next week and really be on point. So I really focus on not pulling too fast but pushing. My back offs felt pretty weightless, to be honest. They just felt very, very easy. And just learned to be patient, and to push off the floor. So the weights have been feeling like really, really light, and I've been really happy with how that looks. I do tend to change the angle by accident on a few occasions, which kind of affects the way my back looks as well in some sets. And because I do have OCD, I always think my form is actually breaking down and I'm not focusing enough. But I need to remember that as soon as the angle changes, the back will look different, the legs will look different, everything will look different, and that's something that I shouldn't worry too much about, because I kind of know at this point that I have my form in check, and I kind of know how the movement feels. Like if I didn't have to film myself for 2 weeks, I know that my form would still be good, but I've gotten so used to filming myself that I try to keep it as close to perfection as possible, because I just enjoy filming myself and just trying to perfect every single one of my movements. But obviously as the weight gets heavier and there's a lot of volume, form can easily break down. Out of 100 rep 100 is never going to be as nice as number 1, I know that, but I try to keep it as tidy as possible, because this is just what I like to do. I like to really emphasize form just for full power and just for safety as well. And I guess I do enjoy lifting aesthetically as much as people enjoy looking aesthetically, because that's not really what I aim for when I train anymore, as I train for powerlifting. So yeah, just about 3.3 kilos away from reaching my body weight, and things are looking promising, I'd say, for now. I'm just really excited about seeing how the squat, bench, deadlift are going to go up for singles in the next few weeks as I continue to lose weight, and hope that my strength does not go down. But yeah, I'm really, even next week, 155, 90, and 175. I'm looking to smoke those weights. They're only between 90 to 95% of my max, not anything above 95, so that should not be a problem, even though I am 4 kilos lighter. So yeah, as usual, I'll let you enjoy the footage of my boss front squat from the last day. That's it for me this week. Yeah, so overall pretty happy, and then looking forward to week 4 as usual. So yeah guys, we'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.